What's up, my pizza rolls? I don't know. Maybe I just want pizza rolls. I don't know. Thank you for checking out the channel. My name is Mark. I am the vocal coach and the founder of Cardivox Academy, where we help you scream and sing beautifully while maintaining your voice. So we make sure that you're healthy and you're safe, yet you're still making the sounds that you love. In addition to vocal coaching and helping people make these gurgly noises, I am also the vocalist in 3 bands, Kardashev, Neverbreath, and Viremia. Viremia is what you heard right there in the intro. Quick caveat on that, I'm only on glioblastoma. It's the only song I'm on. So far. Anyways, I'm very excited to talk about this song. Full disclosure, I've heard it already. And I was going to skip it for that reason. But so many people, both here and on our Patreon, were like, they were sending me messages and they were like, please talk about this song. And so I figured, I might as well. Tom Barber, who is the current vocalist of Chelsea Grin, unless something's changed that I'm not aware of, is very good. And he kind of breaks the convention of metal vocals sometimes, which is part of the reason I decided to do this. We'll talk about that, but let's go ahead. Let's just jump right into it. I don't really have any announcements or anything, so Insects, Darko, Tom Barber, let's go. He's so smug. I love it. All right, don't hate me. This is just a really good place to stop so we can talk about things. That's what we do here. We take the reaction format and we make it a little bit educational. So let's talk a little bit about what we have here. We'll just talk about the first vocal, and then we can kind of break it down because we have 3 vocal styles. We've got his slow, rattly sound at the beginning, which you could approach as a false chord or a fry if you want to. Doesn't really matter to me. Do what's most comfortable for you. And then we've got a standard high vocal that he's handling very, very well, and he's articulating with great finesse. And then we've got a very relaxed yelling voice. Now, with all of these, one thing I want to point out is to make these sounds as crisp as they are, in addition to the post work in the actual DAW, whatever they use. In addition to the engineering, he's very relaxed. I'd be willing to bet, although I can't be sure, but I'd be willing to bet that if I was in the studio there with him, he wouldn't be that loud. I would also wonder why I was in the studio because I don't do any engineering, but I'll hang out, whatever. But let's talk about that first vocal. So that is a really weird and interesting way to approach a vocal. Usually across the metal community, people, they want like these super rounded, super cavernous lows and mids, right? Something so crisp and so thin. Generally, people, they either say that that's an indicator of bad vocals or that they want to change that sound. Part of the reason I decided to do this video is because I think that Tom Barber is doing the metal vocal community a great service by being like, yo, sometimes you don't always have to have that thick low end. Sometimes it's about controlling and finessing the distortion. And I think this sounds amazing. I would call this an A+ scream. So let's talk a little bit about how we can make that distortion. Again, you can approach it false chord or fry, because our whole goal here is low frequency, low rate of rattle, low rate of grit, right? And when we project and when we like sort of approach these metal screams that we do normally, like with all this support and all this gusto that we're always doing safely, we're never pushing harder than we need to, we get that crisp, fast rattle with a large low end. Right? Now, or like even more open. Now with him, he's kind of removing a lot of that. And the way that I would kind of approach it would be to take my false chord bass and move it up higher. And even slow it down past that. Now, when you're doing that, it's a resonance game. If your resonance isn't forward and high, you're going to itch and tickle. So I wouldn't like sprint towards the finish line with this. This is a lot of balance. This is actually a little bit more advanced to do because you're managing compression at a different level than you normally would. Now, if it's something you want to do, I'm not telling you not to practice it, but take it slow, take it simple, find someone who can help you out with it. Hey, and see where it goes from there. But again, we'll continue listening on. I don't want to talk too much. But I'm very excited. I'm very excited about this song. So I want to keep talking. But again, take your vocal, false chord or fry, whatever you do, it's fine. Focus on being a little quieter and a little softer without losing your compression. Let's keep going. All right, let's take a couple seconds there to just talk about the highs. Also, like this song, oh, it just sits in the pocket, y'all. Like I've got the pigeon head. Like that's how you know it's good. Okay, so we said we'd talk about each main vocal style he's doing. So let's talk about the highs here. I'm gonna have to lean back a little bit so I don't blow everything out. But the high vocal he's doing here, as its base, is a very straightforward high vocal. And sometimes that's all you need. Sometimes you need a strong foundation to create a sound that you are comfortable manipulating, right? So a lot of this high sound, which is kind of similar to this, he's barking these syllables out. And when he barks it, he's kind of wrapping his lips around the sound. This guy do this same, do this same, do this, right? Now, the way that we articulate our highs is going to be very, very important to keep up here. A lot of times when I get students who are new to high vocals in the classroom, what they'll do is they'll start articulating their highs, and I see their throat and their tendons just going crazy. But if you look at my neck here, and anyone can do this. Anyone, if you just practice and stick with it, you can make any of these sounds. You're capable of this, right? It's just about practice. So this level of relaxation you are capable of, but with these highs, the sky do the sun do I don't know the lyrics. We want to make sure that articulation is coming from our lips. Ow, ow, ow. We want to make sure it's coming from a relaxed jaw. Ow, ow, ow. And then we're keeping some nasal resonance in there to make sure we're not falling back into our throat. And this distortion at its lower level is just if you can do that sound, it's not too long until you're doing this. Real quick here, if you are enjoying our edutainment, consider liking, sharing, and subscribing to the channel. We've got a fat playlist of vocal reactions with all sorts of cool information. Check it out. Unite! Rebel! You know one thing I love about Mr. Barber here is how oftentimes when you see him doing vocals, he's very nonchalant. Like he's doing this crazy scream, adjust the glasses, you know, roll the shoulders. I don't think there's anything left. Yeah, he's just like chilling, like whatever, who cares? Metal vocals. Let's talk about the last vocal style that he's doing because it's one that is very, very easy to make sound right, but be doing wrong. So oftentimes when we're trying to mix distortion and the sound of our true voice, right? And a lot of vocalists do this with a lot of different approaches. You've got your Corey Taylors, you've got your Chester Benningtons, you've got your Ollie Sykeses, and you've got your Tom Barbers, right? And they're doing this sort of sound. I look in the mirror. A lot of times we can get that sound by just squeezing our throat shut. Only problem is it's going to hurt like crazy and you're going to lose your endurance. And, you know, a year from now, you'll be like, why can't I do vocals anymore? It's because, while yes, you can create that distortion by squeezing everything here, you're going to cause damage. You're going to get muscle strain. You're going to be putting way too much work on those vocal folds. And on top of that, it actually isn't going to sound as good as it could if you were doing it properly, right? One way that he's articulating this is with a very lazy embouchure, the mouth shape, and it lends well. He's doing that purposefully and stylistically, and it's kind of cool. I like the sound of it. But what we want to do is we want to have our distortion high up top, and we're creating that distortion actually not so much with bringing the false chords or even the true chords together more. You don't have to, you know, get that fried distortion underneath, and you don't have to use your false chords for this. Really, you shouldn't use your false chords for this. You can get it by just kind of bringing the meat of the oropharynx and a little bit of the nasopharynx just a little bit together. So we have our yay, look in the mirror. Now that sound, I have to, again, I'm sorry for leaning away. I know it's a little weird looking, but that sound that it's ridiculously relaxed. And again, you can get that level of relaxation too. You just have to make sure that you're building a strong foundation, understanding how to first and foremost support your voice with your diaphragm. Then after that, understanding how to feel the balance of the vocal folds, even if you're going to be a false chord vocalist 100%, which I think everybody should learn a little bit of both, at least so you have a handle of it. But, you know, learning how to balance the vocal folds for like a more breathy voice, a more compressed voice, a little bit of belting. And then from there, learning how to do some distortion up top. You know, and that's a lot of what we focus on is building a strong foundation for people. Like, yeah, you can sprint to the finish line and do a pig squeal, but it's good to know how to do everything that leads up to that as well. Anyways, I could talk about this song for another 10 hours, and I know nobody has that kind of time. I don't have that kind of time. So we're going to wrap it up there, but I want to just go over again the takeaways here. Takeaway number 1, this is all very relaxed. Takeaway number 2, it's low effort. Takeaway 3, a lot of that slow, rattly sound that he's making in these screams. The main scream that I think is drawing a lot of people to this is muscle work, right? The muscles that hold those false chords in place, the muscles that, you know, hold the throat open, both relaxing and opening at the same time. They're trained. They're very well trained in this guy. And so, you know, don't be too hard on yourself if you don't sound exactly like him right off the bat. You know, even I, you know, having never really tried these sounds before, I didn't sound exactly like he does, and you probably never will, right? But take that distortion, kind of take whatever distortion you are using, move it high. Focus on slowing down the rate. Anyways, if you enjoy the content, please feel free to like, share, and subscribe. Like I said, we recently reached over 50,000. I never really expected that it would get that much. Maybe we'll hit 100,000. Maybe I'll get a little play button. Who knows? But with that, Darko, Insects, great song. Check us out on Patreon if you haven't already. Show us some love in the comments below. And as always, many thanks, much love. I'm out.
you.